Yeah, good afternoon and welcome back to North Kildare Cricket Club for this second T20 today as part of the Arachas Super Series between the Scorchers and the Typhoons. A mad game earlier this afternoon with the Typhoons coming out on top by 59 runs, and everyone's been slightly caught on the hop here for this second game, starting at 4 o'clock rather than 4:30, looking to get the games in quickly and efficiently. But you have just joined us near the start of the second over, with Celeste Rack bowling to Leah Paul. Sophie McMahon run out for the second time today. Mix up between herself and Caoimhe McCann in the first over. The Typhoons winning the toss and electing to field first, which probably was always going to happen after bowling.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. No surprise to see them win the toss. Leah Paul did say at the toss that she would have batted first, which was a bit of a surprise, but Typhoons finishing in the 10th over, and they took 10 wickets in that game you mentioned. No surprise to see them want to get ball in hand again. Celeste Rack has been impressive today, but a good shot from Caoimhe McCann. She's the only Scorchers player, a right-handed player, to play the sweep shot to Rack today. You didn't see any sweeps really in the first game from either team apart from Leah Paul. I think it's a good option on a difficult wicket to bat on.
Yeah, that's good bowling from Rack. As you say, she's been excellent today. She was excellent in the first game too, for 8 from her 4 overs. Seemed to be in good rhythm, landing the ball nicely, and it's a pitch probably conducive for a bit of spin. Almost another mix-up there, this time between McCann and Paul. Paul loudly shouting at Caoimhe McCann to get back in her crease. That ends the second over, just 4 from it. The Scorchers 11 for 1. As you can see there, Sophie McMahon run out for 5. Yes, she played a few lovely shots in the first over. She'll be very disappointed day at the top of the order, and to be run out twice always feels disappointing.
Yeah, being run out at all is disappointing, but twice in one day is tough to take. It's been a good start for the Scorchers comparatively anyway. They made only 19 in the first game, and they've made almost that amount in the first 2 overs today. Ava Canning took 2 wickets in her first over earlier, but hasn't managed one yet. The wicket was a run out. Looked quite close, but direct hits just tend to get given out now, don't they? They are generally out. Canning bowling to Leah Paul, who actually played her well in the first game. Kind of played a couple of sweep shots over the infield, kind of straight sweeps. Straight on the money again. Ava Canning was player of the match in the earlier game here today. I asked her what had been said in the tent, and she said that they knew that it was difficult to bat on this wicket, so if they found it difficult, the Scorchers would too. They were quietly confident that they would get over the line. Nice shot from Paul. They'll take on the throw of Celeste Rack. Quick between the wickets, both these players.
Yeah, very good running from Leah Paul, getting back for 2 there. Good half stop from Amy Hunter in at backward point. As you say, has been a much better start from the Scorchers. A bit of intent.
Talking to a couple of the players in between games, they said it is a difficult wicket to bat on, but it's not that hard. they made a bigger issue of it, I think, than there actually is. Just needed to dig in, play better shots. So hopefully we see them apply themselves here. They have a fielder out there. Caoimhe McCann has played well into the leg side, and the few shots she has played today.
Yeah, good solid shot there from McCann into that vacant leg side area. The only thing I'd have said with electing to field first, and I know it's obviously very easy when you've just pulled a team out for 19 to go and get the ball in hand again, but I'd have thought it was going to be a tough pitch no matter what to chase runs on. And I'd suspect that the Scorchers would be thinking that, based off what's happened in the first game, even if they were to get up to that 80, 90 run sort of score, they'd be well and truly in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you've just won the game batting first. It is a surprise to then change it around. You want to keep a winning formula. They struggled to win, the Typhoons. Good batting from Paul. So 3 overs gone. Scorchers 16 for 1. A bit of a change in the team for the Typhoons. Off spinner Freya Sargent coming in for Maria Kerrison. We were surprised she wasn't picked in the first game, weren't we? We thought the more spinners you have, the better. But actually, the bowlers that they did have did very well for the Typhoons.
Yeah, we're going to see a change in bowling already. It's going to be Jane Maguire coming into the attack for the Typhoons. Didn't see her in the first game. Just the 4 bowlers used in the end from the Typhoons, and that was all that was required. Maguire being one of the frontline bowlers for this team throughout the season, gets the opportunity with ball in hand now.
Ball's in swing to the left-hander. Bowling really well at the moment. Bowling at good pace. I think it's a good bowling change from Laura Delaney. Don't waste the overs of Celeste Rack bowling to the left-hander. I think we'll see her return if they do get Leah Paul out. Jane Maguire got a good run out in the first game, but wasn't required with the ball. And she's coming on from the Moors end. Too much swing for Maguire. A good ball to a right-hander.
Indeed. Nice bit of natural shape from Maguire. She does have that ability, and she's the ability to bowl with a bit of pace as well.
Nicely played down the ground, but actually hit too well for a single. Yeah, Jane Maguire is the one bowler who has troubled Gabby Lewis, who's not here today, but we saw her bowl really well to her, particularly in Malahide when Lewis made 100, but she looked uncomfortable against the away swing of Jane Maguire. Good quick running from Paul. Took off straight away. She knew she'd beaten the fielder.
Yeah, well, Leah Paul back up the order this time round, batting at number 3. It's a bit of a failed experiment with the order in the first game. Paul dropping back down to number 6, and they probably needed her straight from the start, really, and to play that anchor innings, which even in T20 cricket, especially when you're chasing a low score, just take somebody getting 40, even 35 not out, and you more than likely will have gotten over the line.
Yeah, lessons being learned by the Scorchers. They put Emma Richardson up the order, I think, gave her licence to swing, and as it turned out, it wasn't the right tactic. They've almost passed the total they made as a team in game 1. Record low total of 19 all out. Hits it in the air, and just about well enough to go over Rebecca Stokel. Paul wants 2, but Caoimhe McCann's having none of it.
Yeah, just plugging in that outfield again. It's quite deceptive sometimes when you hit it over the inner ring as to how much run on it you're going to get and whether you can come back for that second. Considering there's been a few run-outs of the Scorchers, probably the wiser option to turn it down.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul is just thinking every run is so valuable, so we need to run hard, but I think that would have been one too many. Definitely cannot afford run-outs when it's a difficult pitch to bat on. This is much better from the Scorchers, though. They've reached 20. Four overs done and dusted. Scorchers 20 for 1.
Yeah, not the greatest reflection on the first game that it's a little bit of an achievement for the Scorchers to have gotten to 20 in the fourth over, but it was just one of those games, as can happen in T20 cricket. You just have a poor day at the office with the bat in hand. Can easily happen to any team. And you just felt it was likely once it was 8 for 4, 8 for 5, that there was just panic in the camp. And sometimes, as I mentioned in the first game, when there's wickets going down very quickly, everyone's hustling about the tent, getting padded up, getting padded down. There's no sense of calmness, and you could have seen that from the bat. And it was just a little bit frantic, and they didn't really have many ideas.
Yeah, it was just momentum, wasn't it? Typhoons knew they were on top. They didn't feel like anything could go wrong. Good catches were taken, run-outs. The good thing is that their captain of the Scorchers, Leopold, doesn't let things like that get to her. She'll have already forgotten about it. Moving on and making sure that she applies herself.
Yeah, Laura Delaney coming into the attack. Picked up a handy 2 for 1 from her 2 overs in the first game today. Almost a wicket first ball there. Leopold has managed to place that ball in between 3 or 4 fielders there.
Yeah, there's a silly mid-off, there's a mid-off, and there's an extra cover, and she managed to get it in between the 3. And if she did that on purpose, then she's a genius. And I don't think it was. Just a bit of luck. The Scorchers need that today.
I think this is a really good field set by Laura Delaney. And the way the pitch has been today, I think that catcher in front of the wicket is in the game. And it's been an excellent start from Laura Delaney, and she gets her first wicket of the game and her third wicket today. Caoimhe McCann just playing around a straight one there. And the Scorchers 21 for 2. An excellent bowling from the Typhoons captain.
Yeah, poor forward defence, you'd have to say, from Caoimhe McCann. Gap between bat and pad. She goes for 6. So Shauna Kavanagh comes to the crease. It's a big partnership, this. Leopold and Shauna Kavanagh, the two pretty most experienced players in the team. Laura Delaney just getting a little bit of movement in. Not huge, but just bowls stump to stump. That's what she said at the toss as well. She said that's how we went about it in the first game. Stump to stump and just let the wicket do the work, she said. They have a catcher on the leg side now as well. Silly mid-wicket. Silly mid-off. All the fielders in the ring.
When you have such good control of the lines you're bowling, you can set these really aggressive fields, with all the fielders in the ring, and you can keep things very tight. You're forcing batters to take a risk. Shauna Kavanagh loves that sweep shot, but it's a high risk shot.
Loose delivery, half a stop from Lulu Little, but they will come back for 2. She hit it really well. Just as you say it, the first loose ball we've probably seen today from the Typhoons.
Yeah, just 2 full on this occasion, and very well put away. Kavanagh right back on the money there. Or Delaney, that ends the 5th over, 3 runs from it, plus the wicket of McCann. 5 gone. Scorchers are 23 for 2.
Earlier today we said a par score was 120. I think we'll have to revise it and say it's more like 80, 90. They're on target to get up there right now. And the Clear Currency All-Ireland T20 semi-final, the second one, has been completed. And it's going to be Brigade Cricket Club who've made it. They chased down 146 for the loss of just 4 wickets, so they won by 6. And they're off to the final. A great day out.
Yeah, brilliant win for Brigade Cricket, and they'll face Cork Harlequins next Sunday the 22nd of August in Rathmines. Cork Harlequins with perhaps a shock victory over the Leinster champions Marion last weekend.
Celeste Rack coming back on. Bit of a loose delivery down leg side, but Leopold doesn't manage to get it to the boundary. This is probably a tactical bowling change. They want Rack to bowl to Kavanagh. As we said, she does like to sweep the ball but doesn't play the reverse, so she'll be hitting against the spin. It's always a bit of a risk sweeping a leg spinner.
Yes, well, she was out to Rack in the first game sweeping.
And almost repeats the doses, and almost the exact same ball as she got out to in the first innings. Far too full to sweep, maybe paddle, but just seems to be a compulsive sweeper at this point. Hard to see how that missed.
It's a run scoring option, Kavanagh. Sometimes
just doesn't look like she has the answers right now, Shauna Kavanagh. The sweep shot she's decided is not the right option. She's not quite sure where else she's going to get the runs from.
And it's really good bowling from Rack there. Seems to have the number on Kavanagh so far today. Hence the power play with the Scorchers 24 for 2 after 6 overs. Leopold, the captain, 10 not out. Shauna Kavanagh on 2 not out. As you can see from the scorecard there, McMahon and McCann, the 2 out thus far.
On the first game, the Typhoons batted first, and they were 24 for 1 after the power play in that. So So good signs for them. 4 bowlers used so far. Just Laura Delaney taking a wicket. The wicket was a run out. And it's going to be the captain returning for her second. Making sure every fielder is exactly where she wants them before she runs in. Opting only to have one catcher for Leah Paul. She's sitting mid-off. Mid-wickets in a regulation position. And square leg has gone on the boundary. Almost another mix-up. Almost got to the middle of the wicket and high-fived and then ran back again.
Indeed, and I think this is really good captaincy to keep the fielders in the ring. I know deep square leg is back, but that's probably for that release shot of Paul's, that sweep she likes to play.
I think she could probably come in a few, but yeah. It does put the doubt in Paul's mind about the rewards for taking the risk of hitting it across the line into the leg side. But she goes for that option straight of the field. So good, and outfields are so quick that you can bowl your best delivery and still go for 4. Not today. Not in these conditions. It has warmed up slightly in the last 10 or 15 minutes, thank goodness, but we are still in blankets here in North Kildare.
Well, I feel very fortunate to have got a blanket from your good self, Isabel. Feeling very toasty here as a result. Did get quite cold earlier. It's getting a little bit better. You can feel the clouds have begun to rise a little bit. It's not quite as glum and overcast as it was.
Good fielding from Rack, but an easy single for the Scorchers. Yeah, it was almost pathetic fallacy, wasn't it, earlier? As the wickets kept tumbling for the Scorchers. The clouds came in, it was windy, it was raining. We mentioned Brigade Cricket Club winning their semi-final in the Clear Currency All-Ireland T20. That final is on Sunday the 22nd of August at 2 p.m. in Leinster Cricket Club. Another reverse from Emer Richardson, makes contact and she'll come back for a second. Amazing that Brigade and Cork Harlequins have got to the final. Brigade's centenary year. And it's Cork Harlequins' first ever All-Ireland Club Cup final. So really exciting stuff from them. They looked dead and buried last weekend in their semi-final, but got over the line. And I agree with you, was a bit of an upset.
Yeah, I'm led to believe there was great scenes of joy from the Cork Harlequins players after Shannon Jones bringing them over the line with a big 6 in the final over. Should be an excellent final now next Sunday between those two sides. Be glad to bring you those pictures courtesy of HPV Studios next Sunday in Rathmines.
Emer Richardson just not happy about something, so she's stepped away. Laura Delaney will have to run in for the final ball of her third over again. Strong sweep shot from Richardson, but good fielding from Amy Hunter keeps it to 1. 4 runs from the 9th over. Scorchers 32 for 3.
Yeah, good strong shot from Richardson. She just loves those sweeps and reverse sweeps, square the wicket. Does tend to target those areas. And we're going to see a change in bowling for the Typhoons. And for the first time today we're going to see Georgina Dempsey with the ball in hand. Quite a slingy, skiddy action. Can bowl at good pace. And a real promising all-rounder for Irish cricket.
Yeah, gets movement away from the right-hander. The other bowling that they have is Freya Sargent. She's in mid-wicket and bowls off-spin. And looks like we're not going to see Orla Prendergast today. They just have to manage her workloads. Jane Maguire bowled well in her 1 over so far. Down on one knee, but finds the fielder at fine leg. A loose delivery to start from Dempsey, but comes out pretty much unscathed.
Yeah, Emer Richardson, the type of batter that seems to be able to sweep any type of bowling.
I think once she sees it's going down leg, she's onto it really quickly. A good trait to have. Good skill as a batter. Dempsey coming around the wicket to the left-handed paw. She really hits the deck. There's been impressive consistency from the bowlers today. As you say, very few loose deliveries for the batters to latch onto. That one was probably a bit short, so Paul manages to get it wide of mid-on. I think it came on her a bit quicker than she expected.
Yeah, I think it can sometimes happen on pitches that are benefiting the bowlers, that you can just tell there's that added sense of confidence, really, that they can bowl on a certain length, certain line, that it's going to be really, really hard for batters to get on top. And in T20 cricket, it's such a confidence thing. So you see Emer Richardson trying to slog sweep that one from outside off stump. It's such a confidence game, and if boundaries are going against you as a bowler, you can see sometimes the morale go down. It happened a little bit at Oak Hill last weekend between these two sides. When you're bowling constant dot balls, you know where to bowl, you're in good rhythm.
Goes aerial, doesn't quite get all of it, but gets enough of it to get it over mid-on. By and large, if you have a full swing in the bat, you will get it over the infield. So that's what Emer Richardson is opting to do. More innovation. Half the over's gone. Scorchers 36 for 3.
Well, this was quite a bizarre one from Emer Richardson. She's gone to try and scoop this. It's almost ended up getting clocked on the head. She's gone that far down. Probably not the delivery to maybe play that shot against, but...
Well, it's the right length, but the line isn't there. Leopold doing a good job for her team. 15 from 25. Richardson 6 from 10. Not a usual strike rate. Not a strike rate we're used to seeing from Richardson, but horses for courses. We're going to see Freya Sargent for the first time today. The 6th bowler used. Wickets for Arachas and Delaney so far. All the bowlers bowling with good economy rates. Good bowling change. Freya Sargent will take the ball away from the left-handed Paul. She'll try and bowl as many as she can against the left-hander. And Richardson will probably be happy to see the off-spinner. That was a little bit uppish, but the fielder's out on the boundary in cover. And now it's Richardson. She'll have square leg and cow out. I think might be a good idea to drop mid-on, but they're keeping them up in the ring.
Yeah, backing the young off-spinner. Good start. Now that we say it, the mid-on does go back to long on.
More innovation from Richardson. There's no one down at 45, so she's come across her stumps and kind of shoveled that one behind a square leg.
Yeah, quite slow through the air there from Sargent on this occasion. Not much pace to work with, but another clever shot from Richardson. You can really tell she's trying to play all around the ground at the moment, trying to just find those gaps.
Good fielding from Georgina Dempsey. Comes and meets the ball, keeps it to 1. Well, my thinking on the way that Richardson innovates is that it's sometimes too much. She just stood still for both of those deliveries. She could have picked the spot, both full tosses. Just about manages to get that on the toe of her bat. Leah Pulse on the sweep. Frustrating for Freya Sargent, really, you'd have to say.
Well, she seems to have a nice action, Sargent. An economical run-up, I would say. Just a few steps. But a nice action for a young off-spin bowler.
Yeah, nice turn as well. Just checking with umpire Azam Ali Beg that it's not a wide. 6 from the over. 11 done. Scorchers 42 for 3.
Yeah, she'll learn that over time, that you just bowl that one and walk away. You don't look back in wondering whether that is a wide or not. Just obviously pre-COVID days, you'd have just taken your cap and ran away as quickly as possible if you got one on that wide line.
It's the equivalent to a batter looking back at the wicketkeeper to see if they've caught you. Don't look. Do not look behind, because you're basically just telling the umpire you've nicked it. You'd walk anyway, wouldn't you, Andrew?
Yeah, I actually have been known to be a very good walker in the Cricket Leinster circles.
Another ramp in the air for a long time, but just about enough on it. Gets over the head of Ava Canning. Lots of space behind the wicketkeeper. That ball just straighter. That's the difference between that one and the one we saw last over, where she nearly got hit in the head. So second over for Georgina Dempsey. Good application from Leah Paul and Emer Richardson. She stepped across and he's at leg side. Could this be the first boundary we see? Yes, it is. Just about trickles over the rope. 4 runs.
Oh, the first boundary we've seen in a very long time today from Richardson. Just the added pace on the ball from Dempsey. Sweeps it away, and as you can see there, just trickling over the boundary rope for a needed boundary. And Richardson's playing a little gem here, 15 off 15. In the circumstances, a really good knock thus far.
And a very loose delivery, but they've just moved fine leg out onto the boundary. So just the one from it. Misses out, really, you'd have to say. Richardson, if she'd placed that better, it was a certain 4.
Yeah, it was loose from Dempsey on this occasion. Yeah, sensed Richardson could have hit that anywhere. Ends up picking out Canning. Just the one. These two have put on a very good little partnership here between them. Leah Paul playing that anchor innings that we all know she can play.
Well, it's worth 22 so far, this partnership. And in the circumstances of today, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a big partnership. And a good shot from Richardson off the pads. It's going to be another 2 for her, brings her to 18. And the Scorchers to 52 for 3 after 12 overs. All okay with the phone, Isfa?
I do apologise, that's my house alarm going off on my phone. Nothing to worry about. I think the internet's just gone down over there. So my apologies to any viewers that got a bit of a fright. I'd wager it's not quite as much of a fright as we got here. So Freya Sargent will bowl her second over. She can just get the ball a little bit straighter to Paul. She might find she takes the edge. And if she can bowl with some more consistency, she might be able to get another fielder in catching on the offside. But for now, it's a ring field on the offside and square leg and cow corner, alright? No one fielding in the ring on the leg side apart from mid-on. And 45. Are you surprised to see that huge gap on the leg side, or do you think they're trying to lay a trap for Paul, get her playing across the spin?
Yeah, I think it's actually quite clever. You might get a little bit of a leading edge on this sort of pitch, trying to place it in there. And then with the 2 fielders back on the leg side, you know, you have a loose delivery like that and it goes relatively unpunished, just a single. So I think overall it's not a bad field set. It takes away Paul's boundary options. And trying to work one against the spin into that mid-wicket gap can often lead to problems.
It's good bowling from Freya Sargent, bowling it near that wide line. She knows that Richardson likes to sweep off spinners, so she's not able to place it or hit it with any real power. Really getting into her spell here, Sargent. Almost got that to drop, didn't she? Nearly under the bat, but Leopold reached out and swept it. It's 13 overs done. And Scorchers moving on to 55 for 3.
Yeah, good strong shot from Leopold. Herself and Richardson doing very well here in the circumstances. And we're going to see another one. We had the shoelaces in the first game. We've now got the switch of wicket keepers in the second game. Amy Hunter, who's kept an awful lot for the Typhoons this year, is going to go behind the stumps, and the reason for that is that we're going to see Mary Waldron with the ball in hand, which we probably haven't seen much of, but she's been working on her off-spin bowls a fair bit for Club Pembroke, and she got the key wicket of Gabby Lewis a couple of nights ago in a Pembroke game against YMCA, and that's not a bad scalp to have.
Well, I think it was a case of just no respect for the bowler, wasn't it? She's a funny little action, Mary Waldron. There's a little flick of the hands and a hop and a skip and a jump, and then floats the ball up there. And it's a good lesson that you have to just play the ball as it comes. Don't play the bowler, play the ball. Because no matter what, any bowler can get you out.
Flighted start from Waldron. Leopold gets a single. Sometimes it can actually almost disconcert batters when you've got somebody that you're not used to bowling. You can take two approaches. You either show them kind of no respect, and as a result you can get out that way, or sometimes you're almost so tense that you don't want to get out to them. That can also lead to a chance or two itself. So Typhoons obviously looking to try and find a way. They're not taking any chances with this field team. Richardson, 4 fielders back on the leg side.
Well, the boundaries are big, so if she wants to go for a boundary, Richardson, she'll have to hit it very well, and that she does. Really good fielding in the deep from Sargent. Keeps it to 2. Excellent stuff from the youngster.
Yeah, really good piece of fielding this from Sargent. You can tell Waldron really trying to tempt Richardson in here.
Goes across her stumps and looks to try and hit towards the fielder on the boundary, deep backward square. I'm not sure that that's the right option from Richardson. Huge gap between deep square leg and a very straight cow corner. And the frustration looks like it's setting in for Richardson.
Well, you can tell she wants to try and get at Waldron here. She's not taking the approach of showing the part-time bowler too much respect.
That's a better option. And it just went for 1, but stand still and hit it hard. Both the straight fielders up for Leopold. Just the 2 hitting the boundary on the leg side. The 5 overs gone, or 5 runs from it. 14 overs gone, and the Scorchers are 60 for 3. I'm not sure if you're a bowler on the Typhoons, if you'd be too happy about Mary Waldron taking one of your overs, would you?
It's a hard one. We said it in the first game that they only had the 1 spinner bowling, and it has been throughout today a day where it seemingly suited spin. But if I was Jane Maguire and I'd bowled a perfectly good over in the power play, I'd be perhaps a little bit disappointed I haven't come back on.
I think if you're Ava Canning as well, you'd think player of the match performance in game 1, that you need to be bowling your full complement. Shuffle down and then the sweep, and after all that, and doesn't make contact.
Yeah, Sargent getting into some good rhythm here, especially against Leopold round the stumps.
And she claims her first wicket, dances down, good dip, good turn, and a wicket for Sargent. That's the dangerous pull, out for 23.
Yeah, really good piece of bowling this, and well deserved for Freya Sargent. Tempting Paul in. Paul using her feet to get down the pitch, but no real conviction in the shot in the end. She departs for 23. It was exactly what her team needed. It was a little bit slow in your average T20 circumstances, but they needed somebody to dig in, and dig in she has. And she's brought the Scorchers up to 60 for 4 halfway through the 15th over, and it brings Lara Moritz to the crease. And with these two at the crease, you have that platform to potentially go hard in this last 4 or 5 overs.
Yeah, it just looked like she didn't quite know how to go about her innings in the first game. Lara Moritz hung her bat out and got bowled. I'm not sure she'll be too excited about facing Sargent when coming to the crease. But gets a friendly full toss first ball off the mark. Big difference from Sargent when she bowls around the wicket. She finishes her action much better. Might be something that she looks to do, much like Emer Richardson does to the right-hander as well as the left-hander. Much better bowling from Sargent. Good respect shown by Emer Richardson. Flat. Good bit of turn. It actually would have gone for a wide, I think, but Richardson was through a shot. So just the one from that ball, 2 from the over and a wicket. 15 gone. Scorchers 62 for 4. It's a funny one, isn't it? 5 overs to go. You kind of say normally now you've got your platform to launch from, but you just can't seem to launch today.
Yeah, it's whether they can even muster up or run a ball, or 25, 28 runs from this last 5 overs, which would get them up to a score of in and around 90, which could well be a very good score on this pitch, and one that they would certainly fancy themselves to defend. Probably a lot revolving around Emer Richardson here.
Well, the carrot has been set because mid-off is up. I think that Richardson will try and take it on. It hits along the ground instead, gets it between extra cover and mid-off, and her power just about gets the ball to cross the rope. Welcome boundary for Richardson.
Yeah, really good shot this, and just a testament to how well she's timed it, that this has actually gone to the boundary all the way along the ground, and Maguire's chase in vain. And thus far, this plan to bring Waldron into the attack, perhaps going against the Typhoons.
Well, she almost got through there. This is the wicket that she's been brought on to take. It's the innovation she showed of ramping Georgina Dempsey. I think that's forced this change. Little paddle sweep, but Ava Canning will keep that to 2. So Lara Moritz, how will she play Waldron? Will she show her respect, or will she treat her like a part-time bowler? Mid-on is coming halfway up. Is it halfway or is it up in the ring? Can't quite see. No, she's in the ring, so the gap is there, but it's a drag down, so Lara pulls it leg side.
Yeah, good running from Moritz to get back for 2 there. Is excellent fielding from Georgina Dempsey. A deep square, picked up one hand, a good throw in as well, but Moritz called 2. Immediately she hit it. Already been 7 from this over.
Good placement from Moritz. Popped it into the air, but it was right between the 2 fielders, so no real danger. A good ball to finish from Waldron, but it was an expensive over from her. 8 from it. 16 gone, and Scorchers moving on to 70 for 4.
Yeah, given the way the scoring's been today, Emer Richardson with a run of ball, 28 not out, has been as good an innings as we've seen all day.
It's all about context, isn't it? 28 seems like, especially a run of ball seems low, seems slow in this day and age, but in the context of today, it's really, really good knock from her. Celeste Rack replaces Freya Sargent. She bowled really well, 3 overs, 1 for 11. Took the coveted wicket of Leah Paul. Got her stumped. Sporting the tucked in trousers.
Well, I was wondering this from earlier. Is that a trend I've missed out on?
It's the trend of you're really short and your trousers are too long, I think. Not blessed with height, Celeste Rack, so just does what she needs to. Make sure she doesn't trip up on the trousers. They never design clothes for us short people, especially not sports clothes. So steps across. Mary Waldron does the fielding, and they respect the throw. Good throw from a wicketkeeper.
Yeah, good fielding from Waldron.
Little shuffle down and beats Laura Delaney at extra cover.
Lovely reverse sweep this time round from Richardson. More innovation, but good fielding from Sargent. Keeps it to just 1. 4 singles thus far from this over. 74 for 4, 20 deliveries left. Can the Scorchers inch their way up near to 100? You can tell there Marit's a little bit disappointed that she hasn't gotten a single from that. Again tossed up from Rack. Used her feet quite well there, Maritz, but didn't manage to find the gap for 1. A little flatter this time round. Good running there. Emer Richardson diving in. Probably was safe anyway. Another single, 5 singles from the over. That ends the 17th with the Scorchers 75 for 4. If you've just joined us, really hope you're enjoying the stream this afternoon here from North Kildare Cricket Club for Game 6 and the final game of the Arachas Super 20 Trophy. Earlier on today, the Typhoons beat the Scorchers in Game 5 by 59 runs. They were all out. The Typhoons for 78, and quite remarkably bowled the Scorchers out for just 19 runs. In the first one, the Scorchers doing a lot better in this second game on a tough wicket. Conditions have been tough all day, big boundaries as well. But they're 75 for 4. From 17, we're going to see a change in bowling. Mary Waldron's 2-over spell comes to a close, and Freya Sargent is going to come back into the attack, this time from the Moors end. And she's been really tidy so far. Sargent 1 for 11 from 3. Got that wicket of Leah Paul stumped, drawing the Scorchers captain down the track. Now Moritz is just hit and run there, and they've gotten in for a single, so good running in the end. Gets Richardson back on strike, which is probably the chief thing to do at the moment for Moritz. Richardson's 30 off 30, by far the highest score so far this afternoon in either game. It's above the eye line, and that's crunched away by Emma Richardson. That's an excellent shot, her third boundary. It was just a big full toss from Sargent. It wasn't her finest delivery. We've seen so few poor balls today, but Richardson the first to capitalise on a big full toss there. Smashes up past mid-off, and even on a day where there's been very few boundaries, that one was never in any danger of not going for 4. Turned and gripped, but it's gone down the leg side, and it's evaded Amy Hunter, so it's going to be a wide. It's going to be 2 more crucial runs for the Scorchers. Move on to 82, and that score of 100 not looking as far away as it may have done a couple of overs ago. Well, that's much better from Sargent. It's the right type of line to be bowling, and Moritz in a situation here, she doesn't really know whether to stick or twist. With 14 balls left in the innings, you'd think she needs to try and get a run every delivery, and Sargent, that's a big opportunity. It was an excellent bit of bowling from Sargent, again tempting a batter down the pitch. Moritz missing it. A missed stumping chance from Amy Hunter. And to add insult to injury, that's been pulled away, and excellent fielding from Georgina Dempsey on the deep square boundary to keep that to just 2. Moritz moves on to 10, ends the 18th over, and the Scorchers are 84 for 4. Excellent fielding, should I say, from Dempsey. Tossed it up there, didn't know for a second where it had gone, but a good piece of fielding. 2 overs to go. Scorchers must be trying to target that elusive score of 100. That'll be 16 in the last 2. We're going to see a change in bowling with the captain, Lord Delaney, coming back into the attack for the final over of the innings from the Fennel end of the ground.
Well, 22 runs from the last 3 overs. Impressive stuff from the Scorchers. Emma Richardson going at better than a run of ball, the only player today to do that. The fielders out are cover long off, long on, and deep mid wicket. So I think you can expect to see Richardson shuffle across and try and lift Delaney over square leg. That's the boundary option, really. Unless she's going to take on one of the straight fielders and try and hit a 6. She does that, exactly that, but Lord Delaney was alive to the danger, bowled it nice and wide outside off. That's the definition of bowling to your field. Richardson opting to stand outside off stump. A no ball from Delaney. Unfortunately for Delaney, if you bowl off the cut pitch, it's a no ball no matter where the batter is. So we're going to see our first free hit of the day. Confusion for Delaney, but getting the rules told to her by Azam Ali Beg. Richardson now deep in the crease and outside off. So the rule is that the wide line moves with the batter, but you cannot bowl off the cut pitch. So she has to bowl on that lighter green. Chance for Mary Waldron and a run out from the free hit. Richardson can't believe it. What a piece of fielding from the wicketkeeper. Pick up, point and throw.
Yeah, seriously good fielding from Waldron. And Emma Richardson has a long gaping look at Azamali Beg, but she has to depart, and she's departing for a wonderful 38 from just 34 deliveries. A fantastic knock in the circumstances today, above a run of ball, and showed plenty of innovation and 4 boundaries in that innings as well, which boundaries have been a bit of a collector's item this afternoon. But an excellent innings comes to an end with a great piece of fielding.
Well, it was a direct hit, but I think she might have been home. I think that's why she lay there for so long, looking at the umpire. She felt she'd made it, but
yeah, usually as a batter you have a decent enough idea. That's going to be a dead ball. Mertz just backing away there at the last minute. You usually have a decent enough idea, I always find, in run-outs, whether you feel you're short or not. And I think Richardson really felt she may well have been within her ground there.
yeah, big wicket for the Typhoons. Last couple of overs, they didn't want Richardson to keep on collecting up runs. New batters Christina Kilter-Riley not on strike, of course, because the run out was at the non-striker's end. Chance again, but doesn't manage to hit the stumps. Unfortunately, Lara Moritz was gone for all money. Had that throw been better, she could have easily thrown it to Laura Delaney either, who would have had plenty of time to dislodge the bails. But now you have Christina Kilter-Riley facing up. Places it into the gap, off the mark straight away, and she'll get a couple here. They take on Freya Sargent. A really good throw though, but just not quite on target enough for the run out. Would have been a second run out in 2 games for Riley.
Yeah, good start though. Nice confident shot. Pass backward point for 2. All these runs crucial as they move to 92. Still 7 balls remaining. A dot to finish. Delaney's over. So ends the 19th. Scorchers 92 for 5.
One over left, and I think the Scorchers will be eyeing up that 3 figures. Can they get to 100? They'll need to run well. They do have pace on the ball. It's Jane Maguire coming back from the Moors End, and they'll want Lara Moritz on strike for as much as possible. She's the in batter. There's a deep square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, and third man. Those are the 4 on the boundary. Dances down but misses. I think she's looking to go over mid-off as her boundary option.
Strong shot, but good fielding from Freya Sargent at mid-off. It's well timed from Moritz, but just a single.
That's a good out of the back of the hand slower ball. Jane Maguire, she often bowls it when she's bowling at the back end. So if we're going to see it, it'll probably be this ball or the next. A strong shot, but well fielded from Delaney, and extra cover. been a good over so far from Maguire. Edged and down. It was a tough chance for Amy Hunter. Nice movement from Jane Maguire, still managing to get some swing even in the 20th over.
Yeah, sharp chance this for Amy Hunter. Gets a glove on it, and to a certain extent that's probably saved it from going away for a boundary.
Another single out to cover. Rebecca Stokel doing the work out there. So last delivery of the first innings. Unless she manages to hit a 6, it's going to be a score in the 90s. Goes for a big swing and misses.
Well, so that completes the Scorchers innings, 95 for 5 from there. 20 overs, Lara Moritz 13 not out at the end there. Good final over from Jane Maguire, just the 3 runs from it. Overall a solid enough innings from the Scorchers, led by Emma Richardson with an excellent 38. Also runs for Leah Paul, who provided a lot of the backbone of that innings. But for now, we'll bid you adieu for around 10 to 15 minutes while the interval takes place, and we'll be back then to show you every ball of the Typhoons run chase. So we'll see you then.
Welcome back to North Kildare for the final match of the Arachas Super 20 trophy. Before the break, we saw the Scorchers post a total of 95 for 5 in their 20 overs. Emma Richardson, particularly impressive, she made 38 before she was run out. So 96 is what the Typhoons will need to chase. Sophie McMahon has the new ball in hand, and Mary Waldron and Rebecca Stokel are in the middle for the Typhoons. It's a ring field for McMahon. Pressure on straight away. If you haven't been watching so far today, you might not realise 95 is actually a very good total. It's been tough to score runs. It's been a difficult wicket. Here we go. Sophie McMahon. Straight to the fielder in the square leg. Earlier today, we had match 5. The Typhoons set a target of 79 and the Scorchers were unable to chase it. All out for just 19 runs. So the Scorchers will be very confident that they can defend 95. Runs and boundaries at a premium today. A very slow and big outfield as well, so very few balls making it to the boundary. Plenty of bowling options for Captain Leah Paul. We'll probably see her take the new ball from the Moors end. And if you can get the ball on a good length, bowl a good line, very likely you'll go for no runs. And you might just pick up a couple of wickets as well. Strays in line outside off, but a half club from Shauna Kavanagh means that the Typhoons won't get any extra from the loose delivery. Almost gave a chance there. Rebecca Stokel was in the air for a minute, but didn't quite reach Sophie McMahon. The ball's just been sticking in the pitch a little bit today, so a few catches have gone straight down the ground to mid-off, mid-on, those kinds of areas. We've seen close infielders as well. No catches as yet have gone to those. A big swing and a thin edge. And the first boundary for the Typhoons. Not where she meant it to go, but the outcome is just the same. So frustrating for any bowler to see that ball run away to the boundary from an edge. Bowl a good ball, and it's 4 runs. Finishes with a dot. So 1 over gone. Typhoons 5 without loss. So it is going to be the left arm spin of Leah Paul, the captain. She bowled well in game 1. Very difficult to play the best of times, but aided also by the wicket today. She'll take the ball away from the right-handed Mary Waldron. Getting a chance to open the batting this innings. Lulu Little been pushed down the order. Two fielders out are on the leg side, square leg and deep mid wicket. Straight on the sweep. Question is asked of umpire Johnny Kennedy, who turns it down. Good energy on the ball, but well played from Waldron. It's at square leg for a single. Rebecca Stokel made a watchful 10 from 20 balls in the first game. Played well up top. Mary Waldron got 4 from 4. The ball almost seems to go backwards once it bounces. It's that slow off the wicket. Welcome back Andrew Blair White after an interview hopefully enjoyed at the halfway point.
Yes, thank you, Isabel. Good to be interviewing the main man of Arachas, David German. Obviously, their support absolutely invaluable to a series like this, which has been brilliant for Irish women's cricket.
Good strong shot down the ground, long on, pretty much always in place when Stokel is at the crease. Yeah, sponsorship's so important, isn't it? It's brilliant to have Arachas on board for both the Super 20 trophy and the Super 50 Cup, both of which have been won by the Scorchers. So 2 overs gone. Typhoons 7 without loss.
Yeah, solid start from the Typhoons. Stokel and Waldron. You'd have thought, based off what we've seen so far today, that the score of 95 could well be a very, very competitive total from the Scorchers, thanks largely to Emma Richardson's 38.
Well, we revised our par score to about 85, didn't we? So that makes 95 well above par.
I was going to say this earlier, but our par scores have been not brilliant this year.
Really?
Is a nice way of putting it, I suspect. I don't think I've got a single par score anywhere close all season throughout either the women's or the men's interprovincial games.
I think you must be talking about the games I wasn't at. I think we've been real good. Really good. No, I think you're right. It's very difficult to know what a good score is. When cricket hasn't been played at a ground as well, different competitions, but a rare miss behind the stumps for Shauna Kavanagh. So bye. Nice movement in from McMahon. Mary Waldron solid in defence though. Are you surprised to see Waldron moved up to the top of the order in place of Lulu Little?
I suppose they're just trying different positions. Lulu Little, at the time, we didn't feel it seemed a decent enough innings, but nothing spectacular. And in the context of the first game, her, I think, 13 runs was very good and scored relatively quickly as well.
Well, if 85 is a par score, then you just need a strike rate of about 75 to be going really well in this game. So that's about 12 from 17 she made. Interesting shot selection from Mary Waldron. Looked to go for the ramp, but was able to, and was good enough to adjust when the ball was bowled wide outside off. Good desperation fielding off her own bowling.
Yeah, very tight stuff this from Sophie McMahon, as per the usual from her. Stokel again, 5 off 12. We saw her be quite circumspect in the first game. It's clever batting though. Just guiding that one down to third man, getting her single. Ends the third over. 3 runs from it, 2 singles and a bye. It's 10 without loss, chasing 96.
Leopold will bowl her second over. And this is a funny matchup, isn't it? Rebecca Stokel always seems to struggle against the left arm spin of Leopold. He's got out to her on a number of occasions this year.
She just doesn't seem to have much of a plan against Paul, which slightly confuses me given that they are such good friends and they're club mates. Doesn't seem to just be...
Yeah, it's a funny one. They obviously are trained together a lot, both in club and for the Ireland team, so she should have figured out some kind of plan by now. I think that her plan was to sweep, and then she got out sweeping a few times against her, and now Paul just spotted her coming down the wicket and managed to drag the ball down. Well played by Stokel in the end, managed to get something on that.
It's clever bowling from Leopold though, mixing that pace up yet again. I think it's one of those that I think every batter has certain bowlers that they don't particularly fancy playing against or have gotten out to a couple of times. You gotta try and find a way of just getting off strike then. You're safe at the non-strikers end, let other people try and have a go. That's probably the one part of Stokel's game that could still improve, is that scoring singles maybe a little bit more frequently. Trying to use up as few dot balls as possible. We know she has the power game. Yeah, that's much better. Now the ball is there to play there on the pads, but get your single, get off strike. 3 from the over, 13 without loss.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good ploy from the Scorchers to have long on out. That tends to be where Stokel can score an early boundary. So if you take that boundary away, suddenly you're scoring. Her boundary option is gone. She has a low scoring shot percentage, but often can score a few boundaries early on. She's on 8 from 18 deliveries, which isn't really good enough. Not when you're chasing, even when you're chasing 96. Needs to be going at about 75% strike rate, and currently below 50. We're going to see a change in bowling. First change for the Scorchers so far today. Emer Richardson, the hero so far with the bat. 38 she made. She bowled well in the first game, but went for 21. Quite expensive in the context of the match. We've got 4 fielders on the offside, 5 on the leg, 1 out straight and long on, and deep mid wicket. Question being asked and given out. Out sweeping again, Rebecca Stokel. Wicket with her first delivery. Stokel goes for 8.
Yeah, the change to Richardson has worked. Some Ali Beg adjudicating that one would have gone on to hit leg stump. Probably did hit in line. As you can tell, Stoke of the way she's walking off. She's disappointed. Second time today that she's put in a fair bit of graft to get through the early stages of her innings, but then will be disappointed to get out the way she has.
Possibly a shot she needs to just put in the back pocket for the moment, isn't it? The sweep shot. So good down the ground. It is good to have both options, down the ground and the sweep, but it's just costing her wicket too frequently at the moment. So we'll see Laura Delaney, Typhoons skipper, out into the middle. She joins Mary Waldron. And a wide first up. Now take on the field in the leg side. It was well weighted from Delaney. 3 fielders in on the single, but she hit it softly enough that Mary Waldron was able to get home without really much incident. Changing the field for Waldron. She's put square leg out, which is probably the right call, given Mary Waldron's propensities to sweep off spinners. And she does that straight away, picks out the fielder that's been put for just that reason. It's been a really good standard of fielding today. Don't think we've seen really any meaningful chances put down. There was one half chance for Sophie McMahon that would have been really an excellent catch had she managed to hang on to it, but other than that, it's been really impressive. Good fielding from Coulter Riley again. Slight fumble means that they got through for a single, but I think that one, even though the boundaries are so big, might have made it there, so she's saved 3.
Yeah, good piece of fielding. A little bit short from Richardson, and Delaney playing that favourite cut shot to such good effect.
A rare full toss from the off spinner, but Waldron I don't think was expecting it, so didn't really make her pay. Gets it through this time. Lara Moritz gives chase. She'll keep it to 2. So 5 overs gone, and Typhoons 20 for 1. Exactly the same as they were in the first game. At the same point in this match, Scorchers were 23 for 2. So almost keeping up with their opponents. 15 overs to get 76, which sounds like an easy task, but we know it's not, as we see another change in bowling. Cara Murray, the leg spinner, changing ends from the first game. Again, 2 fielders out on the leg side for Waldron. We're still inside the power play, so only 2 fielders allowed outside the ring. Looks for a sweep, misses and turns away from the stumps.
Yeah, very good start from Cara Murray. She bowled very well in the first game.
Mary Waldron has to do some smart work to get back. I don't think Kavanagh realised that there was a chance of a run out there. Didn't even attempt to take the bails.
Yeah. Good fielding by Kate McAvoy. Short fine leg.
Yeah, it's an area of her game she's worked really hard on, paying dividends. Smartly played backward of point by Waldron, but I think a hopeful call of 2 from Laura Delaney rather than something she really thought was going to happen.
Or just sticking in the pitch. We've seen that plenty today, especially from that slightly back of a length. Where it just grips and holds. Difficult to trust as a batter to put the hands through it.
Dances down and finds a gap. They'll come back for 2, but that's about all. Laura Delaney looking to take the pitch out of the equation. Coming down. But good comeback from Cara Murray. That's the end of the power play. 6 done. The Typhoons 23 for 1.
Yeah, solid start from the Typhoons, both Waldron and Delaney. 6 without loss. I suppose the worry for them is that required run rate is 5.2 at the moment, and if it just was to inch up to a run of ball or above a run of ball, and I haven't seen almost any passage of play today where a team has been able to score at that 6-7 and over, so that would have to be a concern and something that I'm sure will be in their minds that they have to manage.
Yeah, well, at the same point the Scorchers were 24 for 2, so not out of reach really. And they do have the trump card of Orla Prendergast, who seems to be the only person who can score with any kind of freedom apart from Emer Richardson. Down the wicket and well placed by Waldron. Ashley King has a very good throw though, so that'll be kept to just 1. I think that's the plan of the Scorchers, isn't it? Just bowl as many dots as you can, keep that required run rate just creeping up. That's a ball nobody likes to face. Good bounce from Richardson. As well played by Delaney. She looked like she wanted to try and cut it, but it did turn back, and she managed to just fend it.
Yeah, clever bowling from Richardson. More dots just accumulating here. I think it's mostly down to the fact that it's been so hard to hit boundaries all day. Why that run rate comes into play so much.
Take on the fielder, Sophie McMahon at mid-off, who fumbles under the pressure. Temperature just dropping again here down in North Kildare at the malls. Excellent field placement from Emer Richardson means it's another dot. 2 from the over, 7 done. Typhoons 25 for 1.
Yeah, good tight bowling from Richardson, and good plans executed as well in terms of field placings, making it just very hard for the batters to get any type of momentum. We've seen that a lot today. Been very impressed by both captaincy of Lord Delaney and Leah Paul in terms of those field placings and the pressure that they've been able to build as a result.
So Cara Murray to bowl her second over. Right on the money from the get-go. Lord Delaney was particularly slow in the first game, 5 from 17 deliveries. She's already doing better than that in this innings, 7 from 11. But really finding it hard to let loose today. Again coming down the wicket, but not really able to get the contact that she would hope for.
No, more dots there. The 3 of them. The required run rate up to 5.68 now. Maybe a boundary required.
Beautifully cut away, hit well in front of cover, but such is the length of that boundary that they'll only run 2 and the fielder requires a cut-off throw. The sound off the bat was so good, but if you don't hit it in the air, it's very hard to get it to the boundary here. Long off goes back. We've long on as well, and deep mid-wicket. And looks to just hit that fielder down at long off for a single. Slight misfield from Lara Moritz means that she gets another run to the score. Moves on to 10.
Almost getting blown away here in the commentary box.
It's very COVID, isn't it, having your commentary box under a tent outside, freezing under blankets. So a dot to close out the 8th. Typhoons 28 for 1. It's more kind of like, reminds me of watching a winter sport, the way we're dressed today, Andrew. Coats and scarves and blankets.
Indeed, it's been very strange weather today at North Kildare, because when the sun comes out it's actually warm enough, but unfortunately it's very blustery. Luckily so far today it's been very dry, unlike yesterday. A lot of clubs across Cricket Leinster scrambling to get games on and games completed in the 50 over competitions. Now personally I spent 9.5 hours out in the hills yesterday for a no result.
It's tough to take. Lara Moritz, first over in this game. Lovely cricket shot. Covers out, so it'll just be a single. Yesterday was a day for staying at home, I think. I was planning on possibly going and watching some cricket, but once I looked at the radar, and you can't go inside in cricket clubs still in the Republic of Ireland, COVID restrictions preventing it, so it was definitely a watch the match centre on Cricket Leinster kind of day. Very odd shot from Mary Waldron there.
I'm trying to paddle scoop that almost. ends up just hitting the body and deflecting away for a leg bye.
Right in the block hole, but well kept out by Laura Delaney. Beautifully bowled, again taking the edge. Mary Waldron turning and opting not to take the second.
Thought for a second there we were up the side of a mountain, Isabel.
The wind really picking up. I hope you're not picking that up on the microphones, but it's died down again now. We can let go of the various pieces of paper that we're going to blow away. Good running from the Typhoons. Good soft hands from Laura Delaney. Somewhat fruitful over for the Typhoons. 5 from it. They're 33 for 1 after 9.
Yeah, really clever batting that. Laura Delaney just knowing that there was a point in extra cover or maybe a little bit deeper than usual. Just dropping it into that open space and calling through for a single.
No wickets this far for Cara Murray, but she's been miserly. Just 6 from 2 overs so far. Difficult to get the leg spinner away. All of the spinners have been good today. Very friendly conditions for them. Lots of space on the offside, but Delaney not able to pick the gap. Just hits it straight to that one fielder that's in point. Good control being shown by both the leg spinners today. Just as you say it, or as I say it, a full toss. But Delaney picking out the fielder that's out in the deep, ready for the loose delivery.
You know, it's been very good control considering even though the pitch has been assisting, hasn't exactly like a major breeze like this, not the easiest bowling conditions for spin.
Just gets it over the fielder at mid-off. Came across that Mary Waldron, kind of sliced it. I think Sophie McMahon thought she was in the game for a long time there, but the ball just kept on fading away from her. We can see the Typhoons just trying to force something to happen. That required run rate nearing 6 now. So difficult, isn't it, to figure out exactly what to do. Long off is back, 4 outside the ring. Short delivery and a single for Laura Delaney to close out. Oh, sorry, there's 1 to come. So 3 so far in the over, 1 ball remaining.
Delaney just moving on to 15 there. Waldron on 9. It's short from Murray. It's just going to be the 1 though. Waldron picking out deep square. That completes 10 overs, the halfway stage. The Typhoons are 37 for 1. They need 59 from the final 10 overs at 5.9 runs per over.
And the partnership so far worth 24, but that's from 35 deliveries. They're going to have to score to run a ball now for the rest of the game. Plenty of wickets in hand, but it's very difficult to get in on this wicket, so these two will want to try and take the game as deep as they can. Someone's going to have to play a really good innings. We saw one in the first innings from Emma Richardson. Again, Mary Waldron trying to play that little paddle pull shot.
Come on here, Scorchers, come on!
It's just straying down leg side. We haven't seen many extras today. Good discipline in the bowling from both teams.
Yeah, very few wides, which has been great to see. Very good disciplined bowling efforts with good fielding efforts backing that up.
And she's walking. The captain has to go. Really good delivery from Lara Moritz. Takes the edge, and Shauna Kavanagh makes no mistake behind the stumps.
Yeah, fine edge this from Laura Delaney. It's a regulation catch for Shauna Kavanagh, but a good wicket that for Lara Moritz, and a big one for the Scorchers. Laura Delaney made 15, and it's probably going to be the mainstay of this Typhoons innings, but she's got to go, and they're now 39 for 2.
Well, I think a lot of pressure goes onto the shoulders of Orla Prendergast. She's the one person in the Typhoons team who's had a healthy strike rate. Hit 2 sixes in the first game. Kind of made it look like she was batting on a different pitch, to be honest. Has a very easy swing, great timer of the ball, and really, really quick between the wickets. You'd have to think she'd need to score the bulk of the runs that are left to get. 57 to win and 58 balls remaining, so she can face one dot and then she has to get into her work.
Well, she's the type of batter that can make required run rates not a problem. Prendergast. But it's not easy out there. And Moritz is bowling well and in good rhythm. Wind behind her back. The Typhoons are going to have to start taking risks at some stage. The last thing you want when you're chasing 95 is to not chase it and only be 4 or 5 wickets down. Gotta go for it here. Just to run a ball.
Straight through. And that's Prendergast, a 2-ball duck. Incredibly good bowling from Lara Moritz, and she dismisses the dangerous Orla Prendergast.
Yeah, completely momentum changing over this from Lara Moritz. An excellent Yorker. Prendergast, not one you want to be facing. Second delivery just slips under the bat, and just in a matter of deliveries this game has been turned on its head. Typhoons now 39 for 3, and the incoming batter Amy Hunter has got a big task on her hands here, because it's above a run a ball now, 57 from 56, so there's not that much time to get yourself in on a pitch that's been difficult all day.
It's not a pitch you can catch up on, is it? You can't say, right, I'm going to just get myself in and I'll score heavily later on. We've seen the ball just almost coming to a stop once it gets outside the ring. Boundaries at a premium. Lots of pressure for the youngster. She's not really shown her true promise in the Arachas Super 50 or Super 20 so far this year. I think that was supposed to be a bouncer, but it ended up being a slower ball bouncer because it came off the pitch that slow.
Yeah, it's a shorter delivery. There's just been no pace in it all day from back of a length. It just seems to just sponge into the pitch and then just actually almost kind of bounces up and wants to be hit, but nobody's really been hitting it. Much better length from Moritz. And it ends a very good over. The key wickets of Laura Delaney and Orla Prendergast. 11 gone. Typhoons in trouble. 39 for 3.
Another change in bowling. First look at Ashley King today. She's going to have to bowl into the wind. Might be Mary Waldron might be happy to see the pace of Ashley King coming on. See the back of Cara Murray. If they can just get 1 or 2 good overs in here, the Typhoons, they might still be in with a chance. They can't leave it too late.
Well, you'd have to think that both King and Moritz are probably the 2 quickest bowlers that the Scorchers have. It's quite clear that Ashley King has drawn the short straw coming into this wind. A really good start. It's taken until the 12th over of the second game for us to see her with the ball in hand, but no looseners on offer.
Yeah, just picking up where the other bowlers have left off. They're right on the money. Fielders are back or behind the stumps, so we're unlikely to see Waldron try and lift it over the wicketkeeper. There's also a square leg out on the boundary. Just right up in the black hole, 3 balls in a row. A handy little number to be able to pull out of your back pocket if you're Leopold.
Yeah, very good start this from King, and it's probably been something we've just seen a lot of today, these accumulation of dot balls. Hard to rotate strike. King just pushes that one down the leg side. Going to be a wide. But just too many dots from both teams, really.
Not a lot of bounce on offer there.
No, not at all. Did you ever think, when you were batting, Isabel, that the size of the boundaries psychologically mattered to you? Because I know personally, now I wouldn't be a massive hitter of the ball, but big boundaries, you'd go out into the middle and you'd be, almost before you faced the ball, you'd feel you're a little bit against it. I don't know whether that's maybe been a little bit on show today.
Well, certainly once they saw how slow the outfield was running, I think it would be playing on the mind, and it will be playing on the minds of these 2 batters, because they know that required run rate is steadily going up now. With every dot ball, the pressure just gets that little bit bigger. Squeezes through. Cara Murray will have to chase that one down. They could take on the throw, and they will. Shauna Kavanagh just not able to collect cleanly, so Waldron comes back for 2. It was a good over, 3 from it. A good over for the Scorchers, 3 from it. 12 gone, and the Typhoons are 42 for 3.
Moritz is going to continue from the Fennel end, 2 for 6. Been a very good day with the ball in hand for Lara Moritz. 2 for 3 from 2 overs in the first game. The required run rate up nearly pushing 7s now for the Typhoons. hasn't been much intent.
No, well, Richardson's probably the only one we've seen really take the game on. She was innovative. She moved across her crease. She tried to hit different areas of the ground, put pressure on the bowlers. I think that's going to be a 5, is it? Did that hit the helmet?
Yeah, I think that's a 5 of the best. From a Typhoons perspective, it was a wide down the leg side, and it's hit Shona Kavanagh's inside of the pad and straight onto the helmet. So 5 penalty runs.
Added to the wide. That's a 6. First maximum of the innings for the Typhoons. The umpires have indicated to the batters that they have to go back to where they started, because once the ball hits the helmet, the ball becomes dead. So they can't have the run that they ran. But leading edge, but doesn't go up in the air too high. So the score really is 49. That 5 yet to be added to our total.
Well, the Typhoons could do with a few more of them. That's a lovely shot. Lovely shot from Amy Hunter, using all the pace that's on offer, and that is a boundary. And potentially just a little bit of a changing in momentum as the Typhoons bring up their 50. And a gorgeous shot from Amy Hunter.
Yeah, great hands from Hunter. Had to reach for it, but hit it well enough for it to make it all the way to that boundary. And you just love to see it when you're batting, the little pop of the ball as it hits that rope. Inside edge will save her there, because if she hadn't hit that, it was fairly adjacent.
Indeed, a very audible nick, even from where we were here.
I think that should be called a wide, but isn't by umpire Azam Ali Beg. Perhaps because Amy Hunter shuffled down, he felt she'd got closer to the ball, so the wide line moved. But I think she'd be fairly disappointed not to have that called a wide. Those are the kinds of risks they're going to have to take now, aren't they?
Indeed, really good strong shot from Hunter. Good to see her timing the ball nicely. Gets a single, finishes off the 13th over with the Typhoons 53 for 3, and that little 5 penalty runs added to the boundary from Hunter means that required run rate back down to pretty much a run a ball, and just takes 1 or 2 more good overs. And Typhoons still well and truly in this. Still have Georgina Dempsey to come as well, obviously. Still have plenty other batting as well, so Lulu Little would be interesting to see where she'll come in. It's opening the batting in the first game. Not seen in the first 5 yet in this second game.
Little shuffle down, draws a shorter ball from King. Nicely played off the hip from Amy Hunter.
Yeah, you'd have to think certain risks have to start being taken, even from a singles point of view. Running to mid-on, mid-off. Just got to try and avoid as much as possible dot balls. Dot balls are absolute killers for the Typhoons at the moment. The more and more singles they can get, the more and more they can keep it just at a run a ball. Then you get 1 boundary away.
Nothing shot from Aldrin. Just hangs the bat out there, trying to take the edge. been a tough slog for Mary Waldron, 13 from 28 so far. Looks to play a kind of a paddle.
There's just not much conviction in that sort of a shot from Waldron.
It's very hard to judge on this wicket how to play that shot. The bounce being so uneven.
It's a better shot from Waldron.
Yeah, they might take on the throw again. Opt against it. Just didn't quite turn quickly enough, Mary Waldron.
A better shot though, much stronger.
She's taken 4 balls to do it though, and then just the one. That's the difference today. If you take 4 balls and hit a 4, then that's okay. But 4 balls and then 3 balls and then a single just isn't going to do it. A really tidy over from Ashley King, 2 from it. 14 gone. Typhoons 55 for 3.
Yeah, 41 required from 6 overs for the Typhoons. Waldron 14 not out, Hunter 6 not out. Have to wonder at what stage the big risks are going to be taken. I'm going to see a change in bowling here. Lara Moritz 2 for 12 from her 3 overs. She's going to come out of the attack, and Nima Richardson's going to come back in with her right arm off spin, looking to take away any pace that may well have been on offer from Moritz, and has been harder throughout the entirety of today to score off the slower bowlers. Spinners have been very miserly and have been chief wicket takers as well. Typhoons needing around 7 and over. Waldron whips that one away for a single to square leg. Richardson 1 for 10 from 2.1 overs. Bowling as we've become quite accustomed to from around the wicket. And Hunter is gone, trying to play a delicate little scoop shot over Shauna Kavanagh, but she's gone too far across and it's just hit that leg stump. And it's the 4th wicket to fall. Probably not enough pace to be playing this sort of a shot, and not quite enough conviction, and it's ended up hitting middle and leg. And a 2nd wicket for Emer Richardson. Hunter departs for 6. Typhoons 56 for 4. That's going to bring Lulu Little to the crease. As I said, open the batting in the first game, in at number 6 in game 2 today. Still no sign of Georgina Dempsey, maybe holding her back for a real last gasp surge. But as myself and Isabel have been alluding to throughout the entirety of the day, it doesn't really scream like a pitch or a ground for that matter to really catch up on.
No, really difficult, and also difficult to get in on. They've got to go to run a ball better than a run a ball to win the game, so it means you don't have time to play yourself in, and because of that it's a really tough task for Lulu Little. The good news for the Typhoons is she's very good down the ground. Those are the boundaries that are a little bit easier to clear. Still not easy with the ball coming onto the bat so slowly. Likes to give herself room outside on the offside, so won't enjoy the off spinner coming around the wicket. And you really feel like she needs to come forward onto her front foot. That's where her strength lies, being pushed onto the back foot by a clever bowling of Emer Richardson. This stage in the game, dot balls are huge. Richardson just changing the field, bringing square leg in. Cover goes out and gives you an indication of where she's going to bowl. She'll keep pushing it across Lulu Little. And she's getting her third man finer as well, which is another indication of the line she's planning on bowling. A very tight and fruitful over from Emma Richardson. 1 wicket, 1 run, 15 done, and Typhoons just struggling on 56 for 4. It was at this point that in the first innings that Emma Richardson took the game on. Probably took it away from the Typhoons then. Leopold is going to return from the Moors End.
Yeah, Leopold coming back into the attack. 8 runs and over required. It seems to be a little bit of a discussion for a while there, but all seems to have resolved itself.
Floated, and Mary Waldron tries to muscle it into the leg side, drops short of the fielders in the deep, and slumped shoulders from Mary Waldron shows you feels she just can't make good contact today. 4 fielders out, cover, long on, deep mid wicket and deep square. Lulu Little will have to take this on now, perhaps go over mid off. Looks to dance down and thinks better of it.
Yeah, good fielding from Moritz at extra cover. Little yet to get off the mark after 5 deliveries. She will do now. Hits it straight to mid off. Runs through for 1. It's good aggressive batting. But unfortunately, they need boundaries at this stage, as this game is just slipping away.
They are seeming to try and take it on now, but they've probably left it too little too late. Both players opting to come down the pitch, trying to get some momentum into the ball. Trying to hit straight, but Paul is bowling well. A good foot from her saves what was probably going to be a boundary.
Yeah, good stop from Leopold. Another dot delivery. The more and more dots there are, or just mounts pressure. And I think this is a wise changing the field, bringing square leg in and mid off going back to long off for Lulu Little. And just another single for Little. So 4 singles from the over. It's not quite enough for the Typhoon. 16 gone. They're 60 for 4. They need 36 from the remaining 4 overs.
Emma Richardson coming off. 2 for 10 for her from 3 overs. Sophie McMahon, the opening bowler, comes back on. That misses everything. Looks to come down the wicket. Lulu Little cuts her in half, and Shauna Kavanagh doesn't manage to stop it, so it's gone for 2 byes.
Yeah, I think it was byes. It was really excellent fielding from Kate McAvoy, running around from third man. Full stretch dive.
Yeah, excellent fielding, especially considering it's been quite a long day. The game feels like it's gone really from the Typhoons, so to still be throwing yourself around like that, great stuff, and appreciated no doubt by her teammates. You have to feel for Lulu Little here. She's trying her absolute hardest to try and clear the rope, and just nothing seems to be coming off for her.
And when she got out in the first game, stumped off the bowling of McMahon, and one feels that similar fate could well happen here, coming down the track, trying to force one away. It is hard. That's a great shot. But it's picked out. Cara Murray at the long on boundary. She's hit that one completely out of the screws. Lulu Little should be a little bit disappointed. Anywhere else on the ground, that's going to be 4. But straight down Murray's hands. That's a wicket for Sophie McMahon.
Yeah, Lulu Little goes for 2. Good catch from Cara Murray. Looked like she'd actually kind of run underneath it. Difficult fielding conditions with swirling wind, but took an excellent catch in the end. And that means Georgina Dempsey joins Mary Waldron. She may be in good form, but take excellent form to chase down 34 from 20.
One would have to slightly wonder, though, with somebody in such good form and having the ability to score quickly. I know it has been difficult. She's coming in here and the game is kind of gone from the Typhoons. But they've got her in a little bit earlier.
Tries to reverse paddle. No third man.
Say all of this obviously with the benefit of great hindsight.
Well, you tell me who she would have replaced in that top 6. I'm trying to think, and I don't think that there's really, unless you put her up top instead of Mary Waldron. Finally some of the innovation pays off, but there is a fielder down at fine leg, so just the single. A really good over from Sophie McMahon. 17 hours gone. Typhoon 63 for 5.
Yeah, it's been excellent bowling from the Scorchers throughout the entirety of today. Bowling effort wasn't at fault in the first game, and restricting the Typhoons to 78 all out, and looks like it'll be a similar enough score for this innings as well. Slightly limping to a conclusion this game.
Leah Paul. Not a bad delivery, but a good shot from Mary Waldron. Hits it straight over her head for 4.
I was wondering whether this might have been a bit of a chance for Leah Paul. I'm not sure she wanted to know too much about that return chance, but great shot from Mary Waldron using her feet to great effect. Absolutely smashed that one straight back at the bowler and gets a boundary forever. Maybe there is still hope yet.
Clubbed but straight to the fielder, and Georgina Dempsey is backing up so far that she's almost run out. Well, I think that the sun is directly behind Mary Waldron. It would be difficult to take any catches when facing that sun. It's quite low. It's clever bowling from Paul, opting to bowl a short length, not to give Mary Waldron her arms. Knows that the danger is straight.
Well, it is a feature of the ground here in North Kildare, and when that sun begins to set, when you're batting from the moors end of the ground, you do kind of have that sun in your eye line. And that's a tame dismissal for Georgina Dempsey, coming in with 28 required of 15 deliveries. It was dug in from Paul. Again, a little bit of a spongy outcome, but I suspect Georgina Dempsey won't want to have a look at that dismissal too many times on replay.
That's a rank long hop, isn't it? Real drag down from Paul, and then it just sat up, and Georgina Dempsey just was nowhere near it. Not the best piece of cricket you're likely to see, but a good catch from Paul. Managed to run around the stumps. Thought for a minute we were going to have another near collision. We had a close one in the first game when Kate McAvoy almost came a cropper running into Azam Ali Beg, but we're yet to see any accidents actually come true. So Jane Maguire, what can she do? Soft touch. Just helps it around the corner. Just for the single though. Mary Waldron needs to start looking for boundaries. Steps across, strong shot behind square. Hits it well, but not well enough for a boundary. She'll come back, take on the throw of Christina Coulter-Riley. A dive and given not out by umpire Azam Ali Beg. So 18 overs gone. Typhoons 71 for 6. Still needing 25 for a win. Good throw from Christina, but just not quite close enough to the stumps to run Mary Waldron out. Sophie McMahon will bowl her fourth over, the penultimate one in this Arachas Super 20 trophy match, the sixth game in the series. Scorchers currently leading 3-1. They look like they're going to make it 4. Big gap on the leg side, no one in the ring. So Ashley King runs in off the boundary, but Sophie McMahon does the fielding off her own bowling. Nice shot from Waldron, but the fielder's in and she picks her out. Bit of a misfield means they scamper through for a single. Singles just aren't good enough at this point. One or two boundaries could make it interesting though.
Thick edge from Maguire. Just another single. 22 required off 9. Maguire just obviously trying to get Waldron on strike. See whether she can muster up any boundaries.
Early call of 2 from Waldron. Jay Maguire will try and get back, but Ashley King has other ideas. A hit, and she was out by a long way, but misses, and Jay Maguire survives.
I think that's what can happen sometimes when you've got a fielder with such a good arm. They could have hit the stumps, but at the same time, Powder doesn't really fancy getting in behind that one. They're in probably the luxury of a position where they probably have this game won, the Scorchers.
In the air, and a good catch from Lauren Wirtz to see the end of the battling Mary Waldron. She goes for 28.
Yeah, really good catch this from Lara Moritz, going back over her head at extra cover. Waldron really trying hard to force the initiative, but it's good bowling from McMahon. Well, smiles all round for the Scorchers. Looks like they have this game wrapped up alongside the series. The Typhoons 76 for 7.
Well, it was enough in the first game, but won't be enough in the second. Typhoons made it to 78 in that match, and then they bowled the Scorchers out for 19. The Scorchers came back well though, posted a target of 96 for the Typhoons, and it's just a bit too much for them. Still a chance, 7 balls remaining, but 20 to win. Boundaries needed and a top edge. Shauna Kavanagh comes underneath it, an easy catch, and it's 2 wickets and 2 balls. Jay Maguire goes for 3. She knew she had to try and score boundaries, went across the line of the ball. And an easy catch for Shauna Kavanagh. So 2 new batters at the crease. We've Celeste Rack, who will be off strike now, as that was the last ball of the 19th. Typhoon 76 for 8. And Ava Canning on strike.
Well, Tima Richardson back to well, the final over. I thought it's been a great day out here in North Kildare. Great facilities and brilliant hosts as always out here in the Moors. It's been fantastic to get these 2 games in. Ava Canning has smoked her first ball. Straight down long on's throat. Very good catch from Anna Kerrison down there. Ava Canning doing the right thing, taking the shot on. Actually connected very well with it, but straight to long on. She departs. Another wicket for Emma Richardson. A really good day, a really good game for her. 38 earlier with the bat, and now a 3rd wicket with the ball.
Well, a team hat-trick. Not often you see any hat-tricks, and I don't think it really counts as a hat-trick, but nonetheless nice for any team to get. Freya Sargent comes in at number 11. Typhoon 76 for 9. And how often do we see it? Celeste Rack in at the end, fighting a losing cause. Big heave, but just manages to bunt it into the leg side, which brings Freya Sargent on strike.
One gets the impression that probably 6 hitting wouldn't come naturally to Rack. We talked in the first game about how much she's improved her batting and how excellent she was in the 50 over competition.
And another wicket for Richardson. 4 for her today. And that brings about the end of the Typhoons innings. They've fallen 20 runs short.
Yeah, a bit of an anticlimactic end, but good applause from the supporters in here in North Kildare. Emma Richardson finishing off with 4 wickets. for just 11 runs for her, as the Typhoons fall to 76 all out, with Sargent going first delivery. Just a little drag on there from around the wicket. Players shaking hands. Games, as always, between these two sides played in excellent spirits and in great conditions out here in North Kildare. We've probably had every single bit of weather this afternoon, between sun and wind, and luckily enough, no rain. As a result, we've got two good games in, and one apiece today, with the Typhoons winning the earlier game and the Scorchers getting their revenge back in this game. The second game today, game 6 of the Arachas T20 Cup. They win by 19 runs. As you can see, all the pleasantries between the two sides. Well umpired by Azam Ali Beg and Johnny Kennedy today. Good day at the office for those two umpires. And do stay with us, because in a couple of minutes time we will have the post-game presentation and the presentation for the entire series. But that's the summary of the game, and the Typhoons won the toss and they put the Scorchers into bat, and I wonder whether that's something that in hindsight they'll think about once again. They obviously had bowled the Scorchers out for 19 in the first game this afternoon, which was an incredible effort. But as often you see, sometimes in international cricket, when asking a team to follow on, it's not just quite as easy the second time of asking. And Scorchers batted with a lot more sense, making a score of 95 for 5, which probably in modern day international standards sounds like a small score, but on the pitch and with the boundary size the way they were today, probably was always going to be a good score. Emer Richardson leading the way with 38 from just 34 deliveries. It was an excellent innings. Innovating at all times was Richardson, sweeping, reverse sweeping, paddling, and then hitting a few big shots down the ground as well. Was ably assisted by the captain, Leah Paul. 23 or 40 deliveries. Again, in modern day standards, probably quite slow, but in terms of the game situation, it's exactly what the Scorchers required. And it was an excellent innings from the Scorchers standing captain. Obviously, Gabby Lewis not around today, over representing the Southern Brave in the 100, and I know I speak on behalf of many to wish Gabby the best of luck tomorrow in her first game for the Brave, and then obviously going forward to the final later on next week. Well, Leopold did a very good job today. Lara Moritz also chipping in with 13 not out at the end. Bowling figures for the Typhoons were very tight. Celeste Rack was excellent today, 2 for 8 in the first game, 1 for 11 in the second game. Laura Delaney was very tight as well, 1 for 17 from her 4, and real eye-catching spell from Freya Sargent, 1 for 20 from her 4. She's a young spinner from Clontarf, young off-spinner. Took the wicket of Leah Paul with an excellent piece of bowling, drafting the Scorchers captain down the wicket to be stumped. And then in the reply, the Typhoons 77 all out in the end, a bit of a collapse near the end. Mary Waldron tried to glue the thing together. She scored 28 from just 42 balls, and when she was in the partnership with Laura Delaney, who scored 15 from 23, it looked like they were potentially in the driver's seat. Nobody else making double figures, though, was the main issue. Emer Richardson, the star of the show, at 4 for 11 from 3.5 overs. Sophie McMahon, 3 for 13 from her 4. That was also an excellent spell, 2 overs right at the top and 2 overs near the death. But it was probably Lara Moritz's 2 for 12. That was the most game-changing of the lot, taking the wickets of Laura Delaney and Orla Prendergast with 2 wickets in just 3 deliveries. which really changed the game and put it on its head. A stunning delivery to get rid of Orla Prendergast. But that's all from me, Andrew Blair White, and I'd like to hand you over to the post-match presentation with Isabel Joyce.
Yes, thank you, and welcome to the post-match presentation for the Arachas Super 20 trophy. It was match 6, and first it's player of the match. For her 38 and 4 wickets, it's Emer Richardson. Just in front of that microphone, if that's okay.
Yep.
So, Emer, not a day for the batters, but you had a really good innings in the second game today. What was different in game 2 to game 1?
I think after our first innings today, we just spoke about having a positive mindset and really backing our shots and also just being able to actually hit down the ground. So we just focused on that in the second innings. Thankfully, it worked out.
And do you find that then when you go into bowl, you have more confidence when you've batted well?
Yes, absolutely. As an all-round, you get 2 shots of the cherry, so that's always good. Some day it's a batting day, some day it's a bowling day. Having that few more runs on the board after playing the first innings, we knew that whereabouts the par score was, so it was great to kind of get up to that 100 mark.
Okay, well done today, and congratulations on the win. Thank you, Emer.
Thanks.
Next up, we have the captain of the runners-up. That's Laura Delaney. Laura Delaney, thank you. Laura, a really impressive performance first game today. Didn't quite do it with the bat in the second game.
Yeah, slightly disappointing, but it was a close game, and I suppose in that wicket anything could really happen. In fairness to the Scorchers, they bowled much better than we did, and we just found it hard to rotate the strike.
And personally, looking forward to the World Cup qualifiers coming up. Do you think the team are ready and raring to go?
Yeah, and I think the last 2 series that we've had internationally have given us a lot of confidence, and I suppose there have been a few standout performances throughout the Super Series, and again that should give players confidence heading into the qualifying tournament.
Okay, well, hard luck today and best of luck in that tournament.
Thank you.
Now we'll have the captain of the winning team, that's Leah Paul. Leah, you must be delighted with that turnaround, particularly with the bat after a tough day or a tough game earlier today.
Yeah, we kind of spoke about resetting after the first game and kind of changed our mindset a bit, looked to be slightly less aggressive and build a few more partnerships, and obviously Richo batted really well for us and we got a defendable total on the board.
You changed the batting order in the second game, you came up the order. Did you see it as your role as captain to kind of play that anchor role?
Yeah, I guess I'm probably not as an aggressive hitter as Emer at 3, so I think I looked to just knock it around and build a few partnerships, and then Emer could play a bit more aggressive at the other end.
You must be pleased to get a win even with Gabby Lewis not being in the team today.
Yeah, definitely. Gabby's been a really good skipper for us throughout the season so far. She always leads by example at the front, and I know our team and everyone at Cricket Ireland wishes her the best of luck, and we'll definitely be following her for the Southern Brave.
Brilliant. So just stay there for me, Leah. We're going to be joined by the director of Arachas, David German, who'll socially distance presentation of the trophy.
Oh, do I just lift it?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! Can I put it back?
No, bring it over.
You can bring it to your team.
So, Leah, if you can call the players up, they can collect their own medals from the table over there.
Yeah, so we have Shauna Kavanagh, Emer Richardson, Cara Murray, Christina Coulter-Riley, Caoimhe McCann, Anna Kerson, Lara Moritz, Sophie McMahon, Ashley King, Kate McAvoy, and Siobhan Woods. And Glenn? Yay, Glenn!
So congratulations to the Scorchers. They're the winners of the Arachas Super 20 trophy in 2021. And that wraps up our presentation today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Arachas, the sponsors. From us at HBB Studios and Cricket Ireland, we wish you good evening and good night.